What's up, guys? I've got a game against scrblnrd3. That's Amalan Iyengar. He's a NASPA about 1500s player. He's another strong youth player, and we'll see what he can give me. I've got a pretty terrible opening rack. This is going to be an exchange. I actually can't think of a play Amal will make that won't give me an exchange, or won't have me exchange on the next turn. So I'll be throwing back these 5 E-I-I-I-O. Not quite Old MacDonald, but we're pretty close. So yeah, there's really not much to say here. Amal's played a G-O-R. Doesn't give me any plays. I suppose maybe there's an argument to be had for holding E-I-S there instead, but I really don't think that's the correct decision. I think changing 5, holding the E-S is the right thing to do. I've drawn a bingo, but it's probably getting blocked. I've got Theranos, 64 points. Don't have one with that G. Not really seeing any other 8s off the top of my head, but maybe if Amal puts a tile down, I'll notice another one. Theranos. Yeah, I'm not seeing another one, but Amal, although he blocked Theranos, gave me another one with his bingo, so I'm gonna think for just a little bit. I don't think I've got one with the S, or the M, or the T. So it's time to play Theranos. This is a clunky rack here. Can't quite play Twiggy through that G, but that would be a really nice play out of this. I do have the ING spot here. I think WYT is a verb, or WYTE rather. So I think whiting is actually a play I can make, and even if it's not, it'll be tough for Amal to challenge against me. So, like I said, I'm pretty confident it is a word though. So I'll play it if it's there, unless I get something way better. And that's actually really nice because Amal's almost always going to make his play right in here somewhere, and that's going to leave whiting wide open for me. So don't think I've got anything nice here with this S. Oh, I have Bitsy. Oh, I was wrong. Amal didn't make his play there. So Bitsy is 36 points. Whiting is 34 points. Oh, a play down here would be sick. I just really don't think I have one. Yeah. Maybe. I didn't even think about plays here because I was so certain the spot was going away. There's twice for 39 holding BGY. But I've got to think about what BGY is going to do for me here. And obviously, the Y is going to be pretty strong to make a play right down here, but with BG, I'm not holding a tile to overlap here. Wonder if I've got any other plays here I'm not seeing. Don't think so. I could also play City up here for 32, but BGW is just so clunky. 34, BC is not the best thing. BGY is, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily synergistic, but if I pick up an A, I can play Gavi. If I pick up an O, I can play Gobi. It also knocks out this E spot where Amal is likely to get a lot of points next turn. I'm gonna play twice. And I've got another rack full of tiles that are gonna score really well, so this is nice. My favorite thing to do against Amal, he's a bingo-oriented player, I think, and so my favorite thing to do is just score 30 points every turn, and while he balances his rack trying to draw those bingos, I just go ahead by so much that when he pulls those bingos, it doesn't matter. I didn't even notice that I was just holding BY. I'm so focused on getting rid of that G, but that's also an option. Something I held last turn that probably strengthens the case for twice. Um, don't think I've got a 5 going down here. I don't think there's a really cool word through this O. Not certain that... Okay, I don't have to worry about that anyway. Okay, I'm all scored 26 with knave. I'm not going to have a 6 that goes over here, so I don't have to worry about that. In a few weeks, Beiji is going to be my play, but GI is not quite added yet. It's unfortunate. Maybe those words will never get added, I'm not really sure. I try not to get into the politics of things, and this is another example of I'll stay out and let other people handle it, but BY is a really strong play here. I don't like keeping that G, but I've got other stuff that'll make it tolerable. I hate the G. I'm going to play by. I'll pick up TT. I wonder what kind of 6-letter extension could go in front of Gory. I'm sure there's one or two, but no idea what they would even be. Yep, just not thinking of one. In terms of other options, really this is a bingo line. And outside of that, there's not much to be done on this board. I guess a play here could be conducive, but that always gives up a triple. Amal's not in a great position. There's just not much for him to do. Even a little dink here might be his best option. Oh, I thought I just found a word going here at 10, but that ends in Tori, not Gory. It's just got the G a little further up. Mitigatory, I think that might be a word. Alright, Amal scored 21, and this board is getting even worse now. Might scores a ton, which is something nice on this board. It'll give them all a free, 20 or 30 point play a lot of the time, but you just can't really see anything worth playing that isn't might. So I'm going to play might. The F might be pretty important here. A word here like ending in IFF, whiff or quiff, or maybe chiff is a word, or griff. That could be a huge play on a board that looks like it might get pretty ugly. I'll try and remember if I pull an F to look for that spot, because that seems like the kind of thing I'd notice early in a game and then overlook when I actually draw it. So try and keep that in mind. Holding the Q on my rack has always been the weakest point in my game. I never know when I should try and play through it, when I should hold on to it, or when I should try and play off the Q and keep the rest of the junk on the rack, or when I should just exchange it all. In this case, if I dump the Q for 11, I've still got a pretty terrible rack. EEG PPT is not going anywhere. I don't really think I have a play that gets rid of some of this stuff that holds the Q either. This board is not going to have very many plays. So maybe I'll just exchange here. Is there anything to be done? I don't I don't see it. And then if I did dump the Q, I could go here, here, or here. I'd probably put it here and just knock out that F because I don't want them all to have it, but I'm just going to exchange. Which ones should I keep? I think standard equity says I should just hold on to ET here. Looking at the pool, there are 7 E's left with only, I guess, 50 unseen. That's pretty average. Slightly above average, but there's only 1 T left, so I'm definitely keeping that guy. Do I want to hold a P? There's just nowhere for a P to go to score points, so it seems like I shouldn't hold that P. Look at the vowel consonant ratio, 6, 13, 16, 20, 23. So we're actually sitting pretty vowel heavy right now. And vowels are not really something I want to have on this board. It seems like scoring is going to be pretty important on this board. That's a reason to hold a P, or maybe to throw back another E. There's still a blank out, still 2 S's out. It's hard not to get really cynical on these exchanges because, like, ultimately I'm just going to draw what I'm going to draw anyway, and the difference I'm bickering over in my head is probably a point or a fraction of a point at most. But if you can master these exchanges, that's a couple points you get every single game if you do them right. Trying to think about possible plays Amal will make next turn that can strengthen or weaken some of the tiles on my rack. I'm going to hold the P, just because I don't want to get caught up in a bunch of vowels. And I did get caught up in a bunch of vowels, but maybe I would have had even more vowels the other way. Again, a one-ply iteration is not the best way to assess a decision you've made. It's just going to make you mad a lot of the time, but... still look to be at a loss for plays that make a lot of sense to make, but oh man, it's been a long day. Moher, I've never seen that word, and I'm gonna lose a turn. Thought maybe he was confusing Mohel or something. Alright. My general rule is if I see a 5 that I've never seen before in my life, I'm gonna challenge it. Like, I've been playing long enough that most of the 5s have appeared to me in one way or another. It's pretty unfortunate that I lose a turn here. It's kind of frustrating, but so it goes. I mean, if Dave Wiegand or Conrad Bassett-Bouchard or Noah Walton play Moher on me, it's probably staying on the board just because I can't justify a challenge against one of them. But a player who I know him all pretty well as a player, and I know his word knowledge is very, very spotty, so, you know, it seems like the kind of thing Amal could make up or something. Looks like my play this turn is going to be PEE, unless Amal does something to change things. Velites is a word with the S at the end, but just velite, I'm pretty sure is not a word. I think it's some weird plural of a Roman or Greek word. I guess it'd be a Roman word. Probably VELES or something. That would be a decent play if it were a word, but. Not really seeing much else to do. If I really want to aggressively open the board, I can try and do that, but I don't see that working out in my favor very often. One of those positions where you just kind of sit and wait and see what your opponent gives you. Trying to think of what a moher could even be. I see that it's the anagram of humor, which maybe explains why I haven't seen it so often. If it's got an anagram, it's less likely to come up itself. I'm going to go ahead and play PEE. Amal's not great at closing boards down, so I'm not as worried as I'd be against somebody else about getting walled in. And Amal's going to bingo again. I see limitate, but I don't have a T to work with. Do I see any other bingos? Oh no, I'm sorry, I see militate. That would be the word. I see lithemia. Man, I don't think I've got one with the C. Quite certain I don't have one with that N. And I'm pretty sure I don't have one with that D. So I guess I'm not bingoing. Which leaves me in a tough position to figure out what I should do with this turn. I mean, an M play down here would be a pretty solid thing to do if I can find a 6 that does it. That might be kind of tough though. It's frustrating. There's always the option of trying to phony them all. I can play like Millier or something. I've already lost one turn. If I lose a second one, I'm kind of screwed, but I think on a day, if I've had a bad day or something, I'm a lot more likely to try and phony somebody. Can't remember if, yeah, I'm pretty sure Melee is good like this. I'm gonna play it, even if it's not good, like, and I'm pretty sure it is. If it's not good, I'm always gonna have a hard time challenging. I've just pulled Retina and a Q, so that's a pretty nice draw. Dump the Q, and then I'm a pretty solid shot to bingo next turn and get right back in this game. Deciding where to dump the Q, I've got 4 spots to dump it for 11. Oh, I've got Connaught right here, which is going to be better than a Q dump, actually. That's 48. Basically catches me right back up. I don't even need to worry about a bingo. I don't know that I've got a spot for Trank or Kintar. Sometimes you miss a really obvious Q dump because you're looking for other stuff, so. Alright, this is going to be a decision. There's Trank, 47. There's Connaught for 48. This holds EIR. The other one just holds EI. So in terms of equity, again, Trank is probably a weaker play. Kanata is stronger, but that's going to take away this spot underneath fees for Amal to hit back. It's also going to keep the board a little more open. After the play, I'll be down about 20 in a tempo. So having bingo lines open is still going to be pretty advantageous for me. Trank is going to keep the board more open. Let's count the vowels. 2, 4, 7, 8. Just 8 out of 24 tiles. So we're consonant heavy. EI is not nearly as bad as it looks. This is a pretty clunky pool, though. You know, none of the good consonants except an R and a T, D's and G's and J's and W's and X's, all the clunky stuff. Frank. Cannot. I just feel like I'm not going to win the game after Cannot if Amal can hit a 30 or 40 point play down here, unless I luck box into a bingo. And if I'm playing to luck box into a bingo, I might as well maximize my chances of doing that by leaving more stuff open. So I'm going to play Trank. It's a little bit counterintuitive maybe, or it's at least deviating from the equity, but that's what I'm going to do. I pull the X. I've got Ox. That's going to be kind of big. Holds EILU blank is actually not a bad leave when your pool looks like this, so I don't think I've got a bingo out of this rack. X. I just don't see a bingo. Doesn't mean there isn't one, and maybe I'll notice one later, but this will be interesting. This is still very much a game. It's the J and blocks off a bunch of bingo lines. It's not solid for me, but do I really have a choice but to drop the X bomb? I just don't know what else is even worth playing. Ox here is 27, 37 over here. I've got to grab that point, or those points. That's a lot of points. We'll see what happens. DS, that's a sick draw. So I've got bingos that start with an E here, but I don't think there's one in this rack. Odd Isles is in this rack, but Builders from the B, that spot's probably not going away. So that's good. Sure, I've got something with this D if I have to look. Still looking for something that starts with an E. Or a play over here would be filthy. Divulge, or divulged, I guess, would be with the D. But if Builders goes away, divulged is probably going away too. Even if I do get a bingo down, I'm not a lock to win the game. If Amal scores a bunch here, maybe drops like OES and then pulls a good out in one sequence or a strong out in two sequence, there's a good chance I lose. Amal didn't block Builders. Oh. 74 points. Let's see, where would that put me? 381. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to win after this. It's good for me to look and see if I can find one that scores a little more. B-D-E-I-L-N-S-U. B-D-E-I-L-N-S-U. Don't think so. Audibles won't go. I'll just play Builders. And the pressure is on them all. I pulled DR, that's going to go out, and here. I've got two outs, he's not going to stop me. Where was that F? I forgot about. Oh, Amal pulled the F, so that didn't end up being big. GRIFFE or something was still possible after PEE, but um, do I have any other outs? Just Rotter door here and red here, I think. Bird. I think that's it. So what is Amal gonna have to do? He's gonna have to score almost 40 points this turn, and I really just don't think that's possible. I think the game's mine. Hodges is 24. It's not gonna get him close. WEAL won't get him close, and that doesn't take the S, so. P is the kind of play I've struggled with recently. I mean, EILT is obviously a pretty solid lead. Wheel does not take the S. I'm like quite certain of that. Am I certain enough to challenge? If I challenge and it is a word, I lose the game. It's just kind of a principle thing. Like, I hate giving up the points like that, the spread points. But I'm just, maybe I'm confusing WEEL. I'm gonna let it go, just take my certain win, but that's frustrating. I hate when people do that, and I almost always let them have the play. It happened to me twice in 2 consecutive games at Nationals, and I ended up losing almost 100 spread points because of it. And we'll check it right now. Oh, wow. Wow, I was confusing. Well, that's a really... I'm really happy I didn't challenge that play then. That would have been really embarrassing. Cool. Well, that's why you don't challenge things at the end, unless you're 100% sure. Oh, that's frustrating. All right, well, thanks for watching the game. I'll probably post comments with what I could have improved, and if not, y'all can take care of that for me. Thanks for watching.